Hello guys, and welcome back inside the Vintage Geek's toy room. I'm John, the Vintage Geek, and today we're going to take a look at one of the Knights of Ren. In addition to my jet shelf, Decepticon Jet, Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, I'll collect almost any version of those guys that I can find. But here we go, the Knight of Ren from Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, the entire box, there was a whole bunch of these in the store today at a Walmart store in South Florida, but every single thing was completely crushed. And when I brought it to the manager, I went to buy them, and they would not ring up at the registers. So when they called the manager over, she said they obviously were not supposed to be for sale, but I did kind of beg and plead, and she let me have one. So the one I chose was this, the Knight of Ren. And there was the front of the packaging, and now we're looking at the back of the packaging. And you can get the Knight of Ren, Zori Bliss, Rey, Poe, a jet trooper, a Sith jet trooper. Those did look pretty cool. There was two of them in the case. But I kind of went for the Knight of Ren over him just because I think I'm going to be able to find him pretty regularly. VC 155, Vintage Collection 155. So I'm going to take it as meaning there have been 155 figures so far in the Vintage Collection, which means I have a large number of holes to fill. I'm never going to get that full collection. For some reason, they're all coming with this little piece of paper with warning labels on it. It looks like the same piece of paper that was in the Black Series figures. So I think they're just printing out millions of these and sticking it in every Hasbro product. I think it was the same piece of paper that was in the Power Ranger figure also. But he comes in this nice little bubble. And this is funny. This is hilarious. So I was popping this staff out, and the top of the staff flew up in the air, just sprung out, and I think I heard it land somewhere over here. So now I've got to take apart my Darth Vader Stormtrooper shelf. But it landed right here, so I moved two figures. A couple fell over back there, but I just had to move the two figures and I found it. So it's not lost forever. When it went flying, I just thought, oh no. Where'd it go? What's happening here? But I found it. Yeah, we're all right. We're all right here. Everything's fine here now. How are you? All right, yeah, so I put that end on. You got to stick it on the end of the staff here. And once it's on, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So here's the staff weapon. I don't know if you want to call it a vibro axe, a vibro staff. I'm sure there's going to be like a red. You remember on the Praetorian Guards how there was like this red sort of plasma that was coming out? I'm sure that's going to be on the edge of these blades as well when you see it in the movies. I can't imagine these guys not using some form of lightsaber. That just seems ridiculous, because I guess I'm going out on a limb here and assuming that the Knights of Ren are the students that he took with him. So why would they stop using lightsaber technology? You know, I don't understand it. So it's not like only one person on the bad guy's side could use, you know what I mean? Like, what happened to those students he took with him? There was a handful of students he took with him when he left Luke's academy. So why would all those students stop using lightsabers? That doesn't make any sense to me. So there's got to be some form of lightsaber technology in these weapons that they're going to be using if the Knights of Ren are in fact those students. I mean, we really don't know that for sure. These strappy things around it seem to be attached to the head, and there's no way to get them off, so they're there. So the head does bob up and down and move, but it tends to want, because of the weight of these and the position of them, it tends to want to flop into a certain position. And the cape itself, this thing here, it seems to be glued to his back. There's not a peg or anything holding it on. There's nothing on the shoulders. You can actually peel it away from the shoulders. But it does seem to have a glue spot on the back there. So I'm guessing that means it's glued on. It's not going anywhere. I was thinking there'd be a peg or there'd be some way to take it off, but there isn't. The arms do swivel at the midsection there. The elbows bend. They do come, the shoulders work fine, especially with the way the cape can come off the shoulder. The hands do bend up and they swivel around. So this figure has a lot of articulation. Standard, I think, to the vintage series of the past. Although, I think the legs are done differently. You'll see that in a second here. The waist here, I'm trying to just remove some of the cloak so you can see it. But the waist turns, can go pretty much all the way around. No issues there. This figure is just highly posable. The legs on this guy, they do move, but they're not like a traditional ball joint. It's actually a joint, it's not a ball joint. You see, look at there. See? You can see the kind of joint I'm talking about right there. They're those kind of joints, which kind of surprised me. But it does allow for a certain range of motion that I didn't expect to find when I first saw that. But it does also have a swivel up here. And the knees bend, of course, and the ankles and everything like that will move. I'll be showing you all of that here. But it does, all this movement in the legs. The other thing too, I meant to say the joint is sort of hidden by this knee pad, which is pretty cool. I actually really like that. And it does swivel at the knee. So it's kind of an interesting knee joint all the way around. But I was going to say all the joints in the legs here that you've got between the feet, the legs, the knees, all these joints that you have allow you to put this figure in positions that I don't think I've been able to put other vintage series figures in. So they've added some joints to, as far as I'm concerned, and I can remember here, they've added some joints and new technology to the creation of these figures in the vintage collection, at least in this particular figure itself. So here we go. I'm going to put them up on the turntable. We'll get a couple spins around. You can see the dynamic poses that you can put this figure in. But again, I do sort of wish that some of the cloaks could come off. I'd like to have that option anyway, but it's all right. He's a pretty cool looking figure regardless. I do hope we get the rest of the Knights of Ren. I hope we get... There's supposedly 6, right? Wouldn't there be 6 of them? So I'm hoping that we get all 6. I don't want there just to be this one and we're supposed to sort of army build him. Because I know they're all going to have different weapons and have different helmets. They're going to look different. So we're going to want one of each figure, in my opinion. If this were like the 80s, we definitely would have gotten all 6. But who knows these days, right? We have no idea. I tried to give you one of him just standing there so you get a good idea of that. And then another dynamic pose here with him kind of holding the staff off to his side. I wanted to try and show you some of the range in the way you can pose this figure and how you can do it. He's got 3 different grips on the staff, so his hands can go... You can do 2 hands in multiple different spots. So the 3 grips on the staff allow you a lot of different range in the posability of this figure and how you might want to display him. I think he's really cool. I'm satisfied with this figure. I like him a lot. I probably would not have opened him if the bubble wasn't crunched. It's just I only wanted to open him because of that crushed bubble. And I just had the opportunity to get him a little bit early, like I said. So I'm giving you guys the video because like I said, I got him early. His bubble was completely crushed. It was destroyed as far as I'm concerned. And that made it so I could open them. I felt fine opening them up. And hopefully I'll find one in a really nice, pristine bubble in the future and have that one left carded, because I do like to most of the time keep my vintage collection figures carded, because I kind of feel like that's the point of these. If you're an old school collector like I am and you've got the originals, you want it for the box art more than the figure, or more than more than to open them up and play with them, But anyways, I've got one open now, and you guys all get to share it with me. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. And subscribe if you want. If you want to see more, yeah, I'll have more. I'll have more coming down the pipe. Thanks a lot, guys. May the force be with you always.